So let's talk tariffs with Brandon Arnold, Executive Vice President of the National Taxpayers Union. Also with us is economist Tomas Philipson. He's the former chairman of the White House Council of Economic Advisors. All right, Brandon, what do you think of the president imposing these tariffs on dozens of countries, and what effect do you think it'll have?
Well, I don't. Thus far, we haven't had a very positive effect. You've seen what's happened in the stock market. You've seen a lot of indecision that's faced the business community. They don't know if they should be investing more in the United States, whether the terms of these tariffs are going to change, whether they could even be overturned by the courts. So I think what Trump needs to do right now is provide some clarity. Are these tariffs intended to be negotiating tools by which we can lower trading barriers across the globe? If so, let's try to get to that point as quickly as possible. Or are these a fundamental restructuring of our economy, in which case I think we're going to see some economic disruption, not necessarily in a good way, for many, many years to come.
Well, this is going to test the mettle of his Republican soldiers, if you will, in the House and Senate, because they're going to get spooked, as I mentioned, very quickly. And if they don't stay in line, we'll see what happens politically to everybody. Plus, the House has to run next year. Tomas, what role does the Council of Economic Advisors have in all of this, and how do you see this playing out?
I think it's a repeat, a little bit of a bigger repeat of in 2018 when we imposed Chinese tariffs. We had a huge market drop at the time. The press declared the world is ending, essentially, and then Biden adopted those tariffs going forward, and there was a bipartisan agreement that they were a good thing. So I think, this is obviously a bigger measure being put on, but your listeners or viewers should basically remember that this is a rebalancing effort. We're treated a lot worse abroad than we're treating foreign companies in our economy, essentially. So we're not the victim. We're the victim, not the criminal, and we're trying to rebalance it. With that rebalance, by definition, comes uncertainty, because no one knows where the rebalance is going to go, and that's why you see the markets dropping so much. But we're hoping, I think, that it will go the way of Israel, Vietnam, India, and Switzerland, who have already lowered their trade barriers to the U.S., and therefore these measures are opening up free trade across the world. And the hope is, and my hope is, that a lot of other countries will follow.
Yeah, so, Brandon, we do have a trade imbalance with a lot of countries, right? And it didn't happen overnight. Countries like China, they've taken advantage of selling their products in junk to us at a lower cost than we do with them because past administrations have allowed it, right? So the president even posting on Truth Social earlier today about the economic relationship with China. There it goes. This is an economic revolution, and we will win. Hang tough. Make America great again. But the consumer does like to pay less. A T-shirt made in America is going to cost more than one imported from Vietnam. Which sectors of the economy, though, could be hit the hardest or gain the most with these new tariffs?
Well, it's really going to depend. I think initially we're going to see some price shock across the board. They're already talking in the automobile industry of several thousands of dollars in higher costs for a new vehicle. But really, when you start looking at the hidden cost here, the more embedded costs of tariffs, I spoke to a manufacturer who's trying to open a factory out in the western part of the country, and just bringing in the materials that they need. The only place in the world that they're manufactured currently is the EU. So to bring those materials in to build a factory costs tens of millions of dollars more due to these tariffs. So we're slowing down the ability to invest just because these tariffs are providing some form of barrier. And they're also, again, creating that uncertainty that investors do not like. So we need to reach this resolution as quickly as we possibly can to cut deals with countries across the globe and put an end to this trade war, hopefully on more favorable terms for the United States, reducing those tariffs in other countries and those non-tariff barriers as well.
Tomas, the Senate, it might take this up. The Congress is saying, hey, this is our job. Do you think they will actually take part in all of this and, set the tariff rates? That's going to be a big tug of war right now with the administration. Do you think that actually happens?
I think it's unlikely. On the China, I think I want to treat the Chinese issue way different than anything else. Chinese is a military adversary. We've been fighting communism since Soviet Union, essentially. Think of it this way. All of us have a trade deficit with our grocery store. We only buy from it, we don't sell from it. That's a pretty good thing, very valuable. But if our grocery store hires a hitman with the money we're paying them, we're not so interested in going to that grocery store. We might switch to a little bit more expensive grocery store, that is to say other countries, to actually trade with. And this is sort of a willingness to pay to not subsidize communism. We pay about 3% of our GDP to have a strong military against communism. We have about 2% of our relative to GDP of Chinese imports. If that goes to 2.1 or 2.2 because of more expensive alternative countries, it's probably a price to pay to fight communism.
You know what? It was a good week. It was a good week for us at Newsmax. It was an exciting week. The company now trading on the stock exchange after going public on Monday. The Financial Times, you can see, praising the success of our IPO. Newsmax's rise is credible, and there we all were on the bell ringing on Thursday. I was there. That was really exciting for us. You know, for those of us who have been with this company in one form or another since the early days, to see how it's gone from really nothing in a small studio that was like a college studio to what we have now and trading worldwide. And there are all of us ringing the bell. It was an exciting day. Brandon, you know, the market goes up and down, but as a new company, we're excited where we are and where we're going to go.
Yeah, well, congratulations to you and your colleagues. I know that's a monumental moment for the company, and it's great to see you guys participating in the economy there, in the stock market, I should say. Obviously, you jumped in at a very volatile period.
What a week.
But hopefully it proves well, and hopefully the market recovers here quickly. I think, you know, with some smart actions by this president and with leaders around the globe, I think that all stocks, including Newsmax's, will turn around hopefully in the not too distant future.
Yeah, you know what? America's pretty resilient. We always tend to bounce back. Tomas Philipson, Brandon Arnold, good to have you.
Thank you.
All right.